Hello, hello. Welcome to the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. Excuse me, my name is Joey, actually. I'm not Christina. I am one of the affiliates Christina has for her wood kits collections. And my page is called Created in Awe. I am here as a guest. Thank you so much, Christina, for letting me come in and do one of our kits. I'm excited to show you this one. I'll tell you all about it here in a second. Fall Trio Hinged Sign Set. This is part of a collection that Christina and I have together called Farmhouse Charm by Joey, inspired by Joey. And you can find that in the menus of her website. You'll be able to go to all of my kits, and they're split out by kind of categories of seasons or interchangeables or things like that. So this is going to be under the fall category. And there are 3 panels in this kit. When you order it from Christina, you are going to get it packaged up. This is actually the cardboard that it came on. And things are placed approximately where they're going to be for the finished kit. If you want to do it as it's designed, you can of course take this apart and use these things wherever you want. But if you want it to be similar to what she shows on the website, which you'll also be able to see on her website at any point in time, you can go back and look at the snapshot of the pieces in place, as well as when I finish this, I'll show it to you. So you'll have access to all of that. But she cuts them to order and packages them up so that you can see how they go together, and there is no extra shipping added to her prices. So when you put it in your cart and you check out, you're going to see that same price, and that's what you're going to pay when you're done. No shipping added to it. So let me show you how these hinged pieces work, and then we're going to demolish it, paint it, and put it all back together, okay? 3 panels, and they are hinged, so to speak, okay? So I'm going to take these off. Here is one panel. Now this is not glued down, so I can't tilt it all the way up, but you've got a bucket of cattails and leaves, and then some acorns and leaves as well at the bottom and around it. Now, like I said, you saw it shift. They're not glued down. We're going to paint them first, and then we're going to glue them together. Now, the back piece is actually 2 layers. You've got this top frame, and then you have the shiplap back piece. You can see these little notches over here on the side. I'm going to show you how those work here in a second for your hinges. So this is panel 1, and it goes to the right side. I know I'm backward to you, but it goes to the right side of your project so that all of your pieces work together. Now technically you can rearrange the contents of each panel if you want it in the middle or on the other side, whatever you want to do. But this actual back piece goes on that right side. This one would go in the center. Well, this one would go in the center, and I'll show you why. So here we have a lantern with pumpkins and a candle in it, and then you've got some leaves and fall leaves and an acorn. Okay, oops, I didn't realize those pieces were sitting there. I'm going to show those to you here in a second. So this is the center panel. The reason it's the center panel is under the frame you'll see you have the actual hinge and then the slot for the other side. So it hinges over to the panel on this side, and then this is the slot that the hinge goes in for the panel on the other side. Okay, so this back piece is your center panel. Isn't that cute with the little lantern? I love this one so much. And then the left side panel has a different kind of bucket. This is a basket. All of these little pieces are layers. You're going to get to paint up however you want. This one has cattails in it and some leaves. And you can, put this little acorn wherever you want, okay? So you're going to be able to arrange that. Multiple layers here. So the reason this is your left-hand piece is it doesn't have any notches on this side. It only has the hinges to go into the center panel. Okay, so let's take this apart and let's start painting. I'm going to put these little pieces on some painter's tape to keep them in order. And I'm going to flip these around in the order they go. Oh, I need to show you one more part so that I can kind of keep track of things. There's another piece you're going to need when you put all of your hinged panels together, are these little circles with tabs, these are what your hinged parts lock into. So real quick, I'll show you. The slot over on this side, the flat part of your circle is going to go in like this. And see, that little hole is then going to be what the hinge slides into. Okay? And you don't have to display these together as a trio. You can split them apart and do whatever you want. But that's how that works. So let me put these hinges. I've got some painter's tape over here. And I'm going to try to keep some of this stuff in order. I'm going to put all my little circle pieces, circle tabs together. We'll paint those up the same way. And we will... Oh, I'm so sorry. I had an itch. Okay. Now, I'm going to keep my left side panel little pieces together. These cross pieces for my basket, I will paint together. My acorn. Now, all of your little acorns, because there's acorns on each panel, are the same shape and size. So if you get them mixed up, it's okay. If you want them all on one panel, whatever you want to do there. But just know that they're going to look the same no matter which panel you put them on. So you've got your acorn and you've got your little topper that will layer over the front. So it doesn't matter which acorn goes with which topper. They're all cut the same to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to put that acorn there, and these leaves that are separate. Okay, and then this is my centerpiece. So we're going to set that there. All right, that's one. I think I'm going to need another cardboard of tape. Let me take my lantern apart, and I'm going to put my pumpkin pieces down. Don't forget the little flame for the candle. Okay, we've got a leaf and an acorn that goes together here also. Okay, let me get another piece of cardboard for the last panel, just so that I like to keep it straight, so it's take me a little bit less time putting them back together. Anita is here. Hello, sweet Anita. If you don't know Anita, I love her. She's been a follower on my page for a long time, and she loves to chat with you and say hello in the comments. So say hi to Anita as well. There's a few ladies who like to do that, and I just adore them for it, because sometimes they get to answer questions for me, and sometimes they just help keep you guys awake and talking, and that's wonderful. Helps us all out on this end. So I'm going to this is how I put my tape on the cardboard. I don't do it to my table because I like to be able to move these out of the way while they're drying, as long as I don't knock them on the floor. So I just roll the ends of the tape under and stick those ends down to the cardboard. All right, so let's do the last couple of acorns and leaves. Now this has 2 layers of leaves that go in the bucket, so those are going to go together. Here's the cross piece and handle, and for this one the acorn's attached, so I just have a topper on that acorn piece, and then I've got that piece. Okay, so that's my last one. Now we have the frames and we have the panels, and that's what I'm going to start with. I am going to start off by painting each of the frames. Are all the same, so I'm going to stack them up. Each of the panels, we're going to go with ivory. Is it Italian ivory from Paint Couture? I get my paint, I have all my Paint Couture paints right here. I get these from Christina's website. So she has a whole selection of paints you can choose from, tons of colors if you are needing anything specific. So some of what I'm going to use is from her website, and some of it I don't have the right colors, so we're going to be playing with other colors. But ivory from Paint Couture is what we're doing for the background. And I am going to do a glaze over this to help bring out these scored lines. So I'm not going to worry too much about them showing. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it we are going to give this a good solid coat, all of these. I may need to pour this out, I'm not sure. Let's just start with the left-hand panel. And this is such a pretty creamy color. It's a little, you guys have seen me use, I'll go ahead and paint the hinge on this. I'll probably change the color, add another layer over it later. But you guys have seen me use a color from Waverly called Plaster. This one is a little bit creamier, so to me it's a little more vintage looking. It's not quite as white. Now, I'm not giving this a super heavy coat. It's okay with me if the wood grain shows through, because we're going to be distressing it, and that just gives it even more of a distressed effect. And I like to use sponge daubers. They go a lot faster for me on the painting process. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to give each one a quick coat. And oh, I forgot to turn my notifications off on my phone. But hopefully they don't make a sound and bother you. I'm just going to ignore them on my end. And I'm going really lightly. I've got a lot of paint on my sponge, so I am kind of being light-handed with it so I don't get it too heavy on these first couple of sections of our thing. I think this one application of paint on my sponge it's going to cover the whole thing. Again, I'm doing it fairly light. Now, let me give you a tip here real quick before we go any further. If you get a lot of paint in these scored lines, you can still see them, but they're not as dominant, and you want to make sure that that paint doesn't seep into those lines too heavy and they show a little bit better. Just take a stick pin and drag it through that line before your paint dries. I need a paper towel over here. You may have to go a couple of times. And see how you can see this line much better? So I'll do that real quick just to show you. That is one way to make your, I guess you call them shiplap lines. Make those show dominantly. Make sure you get you drag this through there before it dries. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of them. Like I said a minute ago though, I am going to come back and use a glaze to distress, and it is going to also help highlight these shiplap lines. Okay, now let's do our right hand panel. Don't want too much on here. How is your week going? Okay, so tell me guys, did you do anything for Labor Day weekend? We really didn't. We grilled. Well, we didn't. Did we grill? Yes. My husband grilled steak, but that was Sunday, so that my daughter and my mom could come over, and my son was in town. I don't know if he was missing the dogs or if he was missing us, but he came home for a couple of days. He had to get back because he had actually homework due Sunday night, and he hadn't brought his laptop home. So, all right, there's my last one. I'm getting hair in my mouth. I'm going to hold on to this for a second. I think I'm going to do this same color on the candle. So I'm trying to decide if I need this sponge dauber for that. I don't know for sure. Let's drag through these lines again before. That's a little too wet. I'll come back to that. If it's thick, it's going to take an extra pass or two to get that paint out. There we go. Got it. Okay. These look good to me. We're going to set these aside to dry and work on, let me get another piece of cardboard. These are like my little trays, guys. And all of these came from Christina's kits. So you might want to save your cardboard from her kits, just in case. This one's not big enough. I'll need a bigger one. Let's get, oh, that's a good, see, I've used this before. I use it to paint on top of too, like we'll do with the little ones there. Okay, left, center, and right. Make sure it can balance and not fall. And now we're going to get, do a little refresh here. We're going to get these, and we're going to stain these with a glaze. I have light brown sugar, another one from Paint Couture. I'm actually going to take a paper towel, I think, to glaze these. I want them to be a little bit darker. This, like I said, is called light brown. It's not a real heavy color, so I'm going to use my paper towel to go ahead and swipe it on and swipe it across as we go, so I'm not like having to do double application. I may do, since it comes off so light, I may do another application, or I might do a little bit of black over the top of what we're putting on. Let's go ahead and do this first. I'm going to use this on a couple of other pieces as well. You can brush it on, and then you can swipe off the excess with your paper towel or a baby wipe, or if you have an old rag that you use in your crafting, something like that. Okay. So this is working like a stain. You know, other things I've used in the past that work like this is if you have any dark sealing wax. I need to get myself some more, just for, you know, particular uses. Or you can use like Waverly Antique Wax. There's tons of different brands out there, but this glaze works. I like it because I can use it as a stain like this, but then I can also use it for my distressing and aging. What do you think? It's not too dark. I'm going to set these aside to dry, and I may decide to make them a little bit darker with a little bit of the black wax too. Let's see if I've missed anything. We have a few more people who came in. Thank you for coming in. Make sure you're saying hi so you can chat with Christina while you're here, and if I can answer your questions. I see Marlene asked if this was a glaze or a paint. This one is a glaze, and I know it's backward, but it is a Paint Couture glaze. It's called light brown sugar. So it's, I want to say it's more slick. It's not even really like a wax. It's just has almost like an oil to it. So it's slick. I hope that helps. That's how it works, you know, seems to me. All right, so I'm going to put these kind of on top of our panels because they're almost dry. Oh, I love how these colors are coming together. It's so creamy fall. I love it. Okay, let's get all of these guys out, just so we can get the right colors on things. I'm going to do the glaze last. The glaze is going to be what I'm going to put on our basket piece and on some of the leaves. I don't think I'm going to go with brown. I think I'm going to go with the glaze because I want it to be that warmer, warmer tone than a brown, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? A dab of black paint in with it. Yes, that's true. Yes, it is one of Christina's kits, Judy. Sorry, my nose is a little bit drippy. It is the Fall Trio hinged, sign set. Let me clean my hands a little bit. Oh my goodness, come on. These don't want to separate. All right, we're going to have a little disinfecting wipe on hand. Ready to go. All righty, here we go. Let's do, I'm going to do the acorns in the glaze. That's going to be a glaze. I am going to bring in some brown. I used to have a brown, I did have a brown color from the Paint Couture line, and I can't find it. So I'm going to use Truffle from Waverly. It's very similar to this color. So that's going to be all of my acorn toppers. We'll do the leaves. We're going to do some yellow and oranges on the oak leaves. Green on whatever this leaf is. Whatever that is, we're going to make that green. Black on our lantern. Okay, let's go ahead and do the lantern while I'm here. My bucket's going to be a gray color. I've got lots of colors going on. So I have black. It's actually the paint. You could do a glaze, but I'm going to do paint from Waverly. This one's called Ink. So we're going to go ahead and do, let me see how this goes on top. I don't have to paint this part, only the top and the outside frame. So I'm just going to lightly dab it on the lantern, and then I just do a little swipe motion. Some of these pieces are actually also going to have a little bit of a rust look. I haven't decided if I'm going to come back and do some rust on the lantern. I know I'm doing it on the bucket. You guys tell me, should I rust the lantern a little bit too? I can do that over the black. It's not going to be as strong, but I can. You only need a teeny tiny bit of black when you're doing these kits. I don't even know why I got this giant bottle of it, because I don't need that much. Okay, so let me take a look at how that's going to look. It does have pumpkins that go over the front, so I don't think I need to worry about painting any more of it. Yeah, we'll go ahead. I don't know how much of this frame shows. So we're going to go ahead and paint all along this bottom edge. Okay. Now I have to go back over on my black, because sometimes the shine from the wet paint disguises spots I've missed. So let me take a look at this guy. That's interesting. That little piece right there is showing. I need to paint that little foot too. And this sponge is a little bit wonky, so I'm going to try to be careful not to get it on the leaf. And we'll get this foot as well. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to stop with the sponge, and I am going to do a tiny paintbrush to make sure I don't get too much paint where it doesn't need to be. But I'll show you where I've added, and I need to get it right along this edge as well. Take it off the tape and see how we're looking. Okay, so you can see how it goes together. These little feet down here, I went ahead and painted those black also. my pumpkin piece, which is 2 layers, is going to go in the front as a layer over that, so some of this won't show. It'll be covered up, but we're just getting what we can painted to make sure nothing is missed. There we go. Oh, I need to do the very front of my lantern too. Okay, so I already put that in the water. Let's go ahead. We'll use the little paintbrush. This is the top layer of the lantern top. So we'll go ahead and use the brush. It just takes a little extra time. And I know I'm not keeping up with comments. I haven't done a refresh. I hope you guys did have a great Labor Day weekend. Anything exciting happening this week? It's already Wednesday. It's really weird how it's already Wednesday because of that holiday. It just doesn't feel like it. Yesterday was definitely felt like a Monday. I'm going to do our little circle hinges in black. So I'm going to go ahead while I've got this. I have a tendency to like to try to do all of one color at a time. It doesn't always work that way. So that when I have these projects with multiple like sections to them, like yesterday I posted a video of our easel display and the fall inserts for it. I painted all of the same color at one time, but I reworked that video so you would see one complete panel painted and put together at a time. So you didn't even know that I went through and I did all of my orange and I did all of my black and I did all of my green all at one time. I was hoping that would help make more sense to you guys. Okay, anything else? Black. I'm going to stain that. Okay. I don't think there's anything else black. Make sure I haven't missed any parts of these. You know what? Yes. Black on these hinges, just to match that. So we're going to come back in because this is all dry now. And just the hinge. I don't really want these to be like super dominant. I'm hoping black kind of helps them kind of fall to the background a little bit, but it may come in and do a little rust on them. So I just added a little black to those. Balance, stay balanced for me, buddy. Don't fall. Don't fall. So do you paint like a whole, all the pieces of like a section at one time, or do you like to paint all the pieces of a particular color at one time? How do you do your projects like these? All right, got those. Those are done. Whoops, missed a couple of spots. I think that's it. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Makes it easy though. You always lay the pieces on your sticky board in groups per color. Yes, I do. That is another idea. You can either put them to group them together by the panel that they're going to go on, or you can really put everything together by color, so that kind of helps to organize it. That's a really good point. Okay. So I did need to do my candle, and we're going to go ahead and do that in the Italian ivory. So let me get another paintbrush. Rather than the sponge, because this is a smaller piece. Now you also can decide if you want to paint the outside edges of your pieces. So think about that before you start painting. You may want to do outside edges first. So for example, the outside edge of this, I did not intentionally paint. It got some black on it, but I didn't intentionally paint it. I don't mind if that kind of laser burnt edge shows, like inside the candle. I don't mind if that's that color. I don't usually worry about making sure everything on the edges is painted. Sometimes I do, but not usually. Okay, that's the top layer of our candle, or the back layer of our candle. Oh, I need to do the back of this. Now I got to decide what color the back of that's going to be. Hadn't thought about it. What would you do the back? I'll show you here in a second. There's something else I want to do in this color, the front of the candle, which is connected to the pumpkin. And a paintbrush helps on this one because you are going to kind of paint the curved edge of the pumpkin. Now I could go back over it with the orange after I paint this color in for the candle. So I'm not too worried if I don't get it right. I can come back. I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate it, and got the candle. I think that's it. I think that's all I needed to add this color to. We can come back to it if we need to. About cleaning up the edges. Furniture markers, yes, I haven't gotten those. I do have some of my chalk paint markers from Magnolia, and you can use those for the edges too. Okay, now let me flip this back around. Let's come in with our brown on the tops of the acorns. Little brush again. I think I can actually use the one I used in the black because the colors are so similar. Let me try to wash that off a little more. Okay. And I only need a tiny bit. So, acorn topper here. I was actually debating about doing the acorn toppers in the glaze to make them lighter. But I'm going to do the bottom of the acorn in the glaze. That's what I'm going to do. So it's got two tones to it. All of your acorn toppers are separate cutouts. So you make sure. Is that all I have? I know I have more than that. That one. Okay, those two. That one goes there. Here it is. Yeah, there's that. That's where Christina's tip on putting your pieces together so you don't miss them is helpful. I think that's it. I thought I had more toppers, but that's all my acorns. So let's go with that. Let's go ahead and do this bucket. I'm going to do a two-tone on this guy. So we're going to switch places. So to me this looks like a metal bucket, which of course you could paint in whatever colors you want, but I'm going to do it in like a gray. I have two grays. Oh, that's my truffle. It's a gray color. I thought it was brown. That actually washes it out. It's a very dark gray. Why did I think it was going to be? That's weird. I thought it was going to be brown, like this truffle, but it's not. It's gray. Okay, now I have Steel from Waverly, which is a lighter gray color. So I'm going to do kind of a splotchy look. I'm going to do it on the cross piece, and I'm also going to do it on the metal part of for the handle. The middle part of the handle is going to be glazed. So let's get another paintbrush here. Let's see what. I'm going to do a sponge. I can do a sponge on this. And I'm going to go ahead and go over the whole thing. And I kind of start in the middle and swipe outward. We're going to go across the top. It doesn't have to be perfect across the top. Just try not to get it on your leaves. But while it's wet, same thing down here. I'm going to try not to get it on these leaves. This one you do have to get the edge right because your leaf is not going to have anything covering it. Okay, stopping there for now, and I'm going to come in and dot in a little bit. That's going to be a lot, but we'll try it. We're going to get this little stippling brush, and I'm just going to get a little bit of the paint. There's not a lot on there, and we're just going to kind of stipple around. Okay, and then I'm going to take a sponge, this one, and dab to blend. So we're going to come back in with a little more and come over a little bit with, there we go. So I just layer, I kind of go back and forth, and I'm going to use this sponge to blend, and I'll show you now. There we go. So you've got kind of a mottled look. It's not 100% one color. So we're going to go ahead and do the handle while it's wet. I'm going to stipple. Oh, that looks good like that. A little bit of the truffle. That's so funny how I thought that the truffle was going to be brown, and I kept looking over it. I kept looking over it and not seeing the color. Okay, that needs to be blended. Needs more of the dark gray. That looks good. Okay, last piece is this little cross piece. Start with the dark, get over the top with the light, and soften it. Ugh. I'll show you how all these colors are working together in a little bit, but that's all I need. Just need a little more. There we go. There we go. That's it for the grays. Right? Okay, I need to go back and see what color should I do the back of my lantern. Did you tell me? Did you tell me what I should do for the back of the lantern? Oh goodness, we're praying for someone. Okay, I will go back and check for that information. Oh, Judy. Okay. What color for the back of the lantern? Behind. Eek. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, I hope that, I don't know if I answered it or if Christina answered it. So these pieces layer like so. And then there's another layer in front. I don't know what color to put back there. I don't really want to stain it. What should I put back there? I don't know if I want it to have black. I guess I could do black. I could do the gray. I feel like I need to do black. What do you think? Black, says Anita. Okay. While my metal bucket is drying, I will wait to do my rust look. Let's go ahead and get some green. I'm going to use Autumn Sage from Paint Couture on some of my green leaves. Any other votes? Yellow. My candle flicker is going to be yellow. I could do like a halo of yellow behind it, but I don't want the whole thing to be yellow necessarily, because then I don't think it'll stand out. But that's an option. Put my sponge in there before it starts to dry out. Okay. I need a small paintbrush for my leaves, and it's just going to be some of these leaves. This is a very light green, really soft. Try not to get too much paint on my paintbrush as I go, otherwise it really slops over the outside edges. But take your time when you're doing these projects, because you really want to pay attention and make clear choices of where you want your colors. And sometimes it doesn't come to you before you start your project. Sometimes it's later and you're thinking, you know, you can take it in stages. You can, that way you don't have to paint it all at one time. You can come in and start with some of it, set it aside, come back and decide what you want to do with the rest of it, or certain pieces of it, kind of like a puzzle, right? I mean, we're really early for fall crafting. This is the time that you, of course, want to get your projects, like order your kits and order paints or whatever you're going to be making for the fall season. This is the time to do that so you can get it done up. But it's still pretty early for actual crafting, I think. Does anybody out there do like vendor events and sell the crafts that they make? Okay, so that's the leaves that go in front of these. But we're going to go ahead and paint all of these also. And then we're going to be working on our leaves. Now our leaves are going to have like a 2 or 3 tone color to them. I like to do you can add in red if you want. I did that on a project, our leaves for our easel inserts, but I think this time I'm just going to do 2 tones of orange with yellow. You could add in green, you could add in some burgundy or purples if you want. Any other votes? Use yellow to look like the reflection, a different shade of yellow. Yeah, you could. With a soft whitewash. Okay, black with a soft, I don't know if I can get a good whitewash over black. I'm not sure. I could glaze it in black. How about that? Then it's not as dark. Maybe we can do that, because I do have a black glaze. Then it might kind of look like the light is brightening up the background a little bit, making it not as deep of a black color. I think I'm going to try that. And then I can also paint over that glaze a little more easily than I can over the black paint if I want to add some yellow back there for the light. Okay, we still have a little more green to go. There's more green in here than I thought there was going to be. Now this one is going to be in the front. I'm going to show you here. Your leaves are cut to where they kind of, they're cut so that you can tell they're overlapping, but they're not literally 2 layers. And you can decide which of the leaves will be in the front of the other. So I'll show you that. It doesn't take much paint. You just gotta get in here with sometimes a small paintbrush to get the colors where you want them. This stem, and we have some over here too. Yep, we're gonna have more green, but that's it for this one. I gotta get all the little tips that I missed. Green is another one that like the shine of the black, sometimes I miss spots. Green is one I always tend to miss spots with this light colored green. See, over here I missed some too. So it looks like I'm just painting and painting and painting and painting, and really it's just teeny tiny bits. Okay, so for this guy, this right here is what I'm talking about. You could decide if you want this leaf to be in the front, or if you want to draw in the shape of this leaf over the front of this one. So you can choose. I found it easier to just do the green leaf in front of the other one. Okay, let's do a switcheroo. Got the green back there. Okay, so there is some green on these. I mean, and you could choose. These could be brown. These could be like wheat. To me, they look a little bit almost like laurel leaves. So we're going to come in with the green. Now, up here on the top are cattails, and there's a combination of green and like a yellowy brown. So what I'm going to do is choose some leaves to skip when I get to that with the green color, and we'll do the glaze. Oh, I needed to do some brown for the cattails. I forgot that, so we'll get the brown going again. There's that. And this one. Let me go ahead and do this one. Underneath. So, I mean, if you like more of the fall tones of all of the yellows and browns, I would do that where I'm putting green. I just like to have some variety. And our oak leaves are going to have a whole lot of the yellow and orange tones going on, so I thought green might be a nice touch. Okay, I think I've got that. Now make sure it's drying, so let's do, hang on, I need to get that back out, and we'll do on the cattails. I'm going to go through and specifically paint a couple of leaves in the green tone, because it's like one side is green and the other side is brown. I don't know if it's that or if it's that there's a combination of leaves. I don't know. That's just one leaf. Here's a stalk. Now we are going to go over the front of part of this project with the handle. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that on down. Paying attention to stalks and leaves. And then this green is a little bit muted for some of these leaves. So you do whatever you like. Okay, that I'll leave. And paint this one. So whatever you like. Let's go ahead and make that one green. Also, I'll come back in with the stain. Okay, so I chose certain leaves, and we'll come back with the glaze on others. Oh, there's a couple more spots. I gotta stop. I gotta stop with the green. I gotta move on to the next color. Let's do pumpkins and leaves. So we'll start, actually let's start with the leaves, and we'll do some yellow on those, and then our pumpkins are going to be a two-tone orange. Boy, this is taking long. I hope, no, my battery's doing well. I was like, oh my goodness. We've been painting a while. All right, now let's get another little paintbrush, small-ish. Sorry, my nose keeps itching. And I'm going to give our leaves a full, or our oak leaves, a full background of yellow. It just makes it a little bit easier. I will use the oranges over the top to blend into the background of yellow. I have a harder time getting yellow to blend over the dark orange. So I will make all of them a backdrop of yellow. This is the same thing I did if you watched my video for the easel inserts. So I gave all of it a wash of yellow first. And I could have used a sponge dauber on this now that I think about it. But we're going to go with it as it is. A lot of oak leaves in here. Oop, that was sloppy. We'll work on that with orange. Okay. Well, every time I look at these acorns, I'm like, oh no, I forgot the top on that, but the top is separate. And we did all that. We got all of that done. So it's coming along, it's coming along. We just have oranges and the staining and the glazing to do, pretty much. Okay. And then glue. Ooh, I got some yellow on my green leaves. See if I can clean that off before we go any further. Let's turn this and see if I can clean that off. Yep, that looks fine. Yay, salvaged it. Oh, and our candle flicker. Get that painted or yellow. I think I'm going to add just a hint of orange, orange to that also. All right, so now let's switch over to the oak leaves over here. Trying to remember. I need to touch that up. I got it on my gray. Take that off before it dries. Okay, 2 more, 3, 4 more. I just turned my cardboard to help me out a little bit. That little leaf, there we go, in front. Okay, now this guy. He's not taped down, so I gotta hold him. A little bucket, let me turn it around. I'm getting sloppy on my green spots. I think I'm trying to decide. I guess I'm just going to do a little bit of a brown glaze over these green leaves to kind of deepen the color a little bit. They just are looking really bright to me, and I want them to have some more depth, so we will be glazing that. Okay. Let's touch up. There. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got that. Okay, there's the yellow. I'm going to keep my brush out just in case I need to soften the orange that we add. So we're going to add orange in Firelight from Paint Couture, and also I have the pumpkin color from Waverly. Got two different colors there. So let's come over here to our pumpkins. Just have a couple of those and the little light too. All right. So I'm going to start with watering down. Let me get a good amount of paint here. I've got some paint. This is the Waverly color, and I'm going to water it down so that I can blend it. So let me add water to this. And I'm going to swipe off the heavy paint, come back in and just get the watery parts. Okay, now on our oak leaves, let's do that first and then we'll do our pumpkins. I'm going to dab in this yellow, this orange in some spots. Okay. And I feel like I should be doing all of it at one time. Let's go ahead and do here. Yeah, I want this to have more water so I can really blend it out. In fact, I'm going to wash off my brush and make it wet and come back and really blend these together so it's even softer. This one's just going to have more color to it. That's a lot. This one's going to be mostly orange. I just got so much paint on there. It's going to be mostly orange. That's okay. The more water you add, the more you can really blend. And I'll show you in these three in a minute how that worked. Let me keep going here. Get some more on these. Try not to take all day, but I want to show you. I really like my leaves to have the blended look. More than one, just one color going on. Okay. So these I can show you. You can see the differences. See that? How I had a lot of paint on here, so I came back with water and just blended it out. So it's mostly orange. There's a little yellow in there. And then some of these have just a little bit of orange to them, and then some have more. Okay? Oh, and then there's that one over there. So it's got a two-tone. We're going to add a third tone. I'm going to take this, though, and kind of add it to the bottom of my candle. Get that wet and blend it a little bit better. I'll show you that one here in a second. Let me switch over and do these. Whoop. Don't stick your hand on the painter's tape because it will drag it across the table. Okay. We're going to go with one side here on this guy. Get that wet. And blend it a little bit more. Okay. Oh, we have these here too. Once you get the hang of this, you can really have fun with the colors and choose how you want them to end up looking. Okay. All right, that's it for that color. I'm going to, oh, I forgot my yellow. I haven't needed that, so I'm going to put my yellow paintbrush up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do some firelight in this same little tray. I'll come back to the pumpkin. And grab the firelight, and again, water it down. I just keep water in that spray mister so that it's actually distilled water. I use it in my paint jars and in my paste jars so that I don't grow science experiments. Let me get another paper towel. I have a lot of paint on that brush. Okay, let's just get some of the watered down and go ahead and add just, need to water it down even more. Just to the tips of some of these and the base. And it's very wet, so I'm actually just going to let that set for a minute and start to dry, and then I will work it in. And then as it dries, I'll show, I can't pick it up because it's so wet, but as it dries in, I can show you what that color looks like. All right, let me get water on that, because if it's looking splotchy, just go back over it with a very wet paintbrush to soften the color out. Okay, I keep putting my hand in the painter's tape. Oh, soften this one. There we go. Okay. This is a really good one to look at. You've got the 3 different tones. You've got the yellow, you've got the pumpkin, and then you've got the firelight. Some of them I took a lot of firelight to it. So those were, there's those. And we're just going to do the same on these here. Adding a little bit here and there. Blending it in. Now this is the one that ended up mostly orange, so we're going to really come in with some firelight in a couple of places. And this one's a little softer. touch of the firelight at the base of the candle. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to get this wet. I see a few spots I want to soften here. So just water coming in to soften the effects of the colors where they blend together. Tiny bit of firelight. There we go. Okay. There. Okay. Got those. So you can see how these came out. I just love the combination. And again, if you want to add a little bit of red to it, that would even add more depth. Okay, let's get our pumpkins. Let's get a paintbrush in here. And I'm going to do... Let's see. Let's start with the pumpkin color because I think I'm going to do the whole thing in the pumpkin color and then come back and add the firelight where the little like the, what do you call them? The ridges of the pumpkin. Here we go. We're going to do pumpkin color for the base and then add some definition. Oh, shoot. Hang on, I need a new wipe, or I can use this wet paper towel. I got it on my frame. There. Almost. Okay. Eek. I'm getting sloppy. Okay, here's where I'm going to paint in the edge of my pumpkin. Getting careful with a couple of spots, so I'm getting quiet. Okay. All the way to the outside edges there. Now, let's drag those lines real quick. Hold on. So that you can see them. This, whoops, there we go. Okay, messing. Let me get the lid on, and okay, so there's our little pumpkins, and I drug through. There you can see those little scored lines that shows you, what is it, the ridges? What do you call it? I have missed so many comments, guys. I cannot keep up with You like to use the disinfecting wipes? They do. They come in handy. Red would be good. I know. I like that idea too. Okay, let's come back in. I'm going to wash this off because I still have my firelight and it's the watered down. So it's going to help me add in just basically on these ridge lines. and because it's watered down, I'm going to really soften it. And we'll come back over this with some glaze too. So can you see on this guy? It just added some definition with that darker orange. I'm going to drag through those lines real quick because I want my glaze to go down into those lines real well. You don't have to get as detailed as I'm getting, guys. Don't be intimidated. This is just how I want mine to look. You could do one solid orange color if you like. Whoop. That one's not quite as defined. I think my firelight's more watered down than I thought. Okay, I've got my angle funny here. Hang on. Let's go around this way. And then come down this way. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second. Where are we? We are going to do black glaze, brown glaze, brown glaze, brown paint. I needed to get the brown paint back out. So get my... Okay. We need another smallish paintbrush. This one's not the best. Okay. And what was I going to do the brown? Oh, I just went blank. What was I going to do in the brown? There's a piece here I don't need. Oh my gosh. I just went blank. What am I doing brown on? Oh, the cattails. Oh my goodness. Okay, so these. And sometimes the cattails have a little bit of yellow in them if you want to add some yellow to those. Like at the tip or something. You could. Whoa. Turn this guy. And that one. Oop, I missed a couple. Hang on, gotta go back. That's a cattail there. Sometimes upside down, for some reason, some of the cattails looked like leaves. But we're going to get them. Okay. We've got our cattails done, and then we're just going to do the glaze on the last leaves that are there. All right. I think that's it. I think the only thing left that's left to do is the glaze. Now my pumpkins are still drying, so I'm not going to do those yet. Where's my glaze? Now I'm going to come back in with the, let's do the light. Now we'll do the black glaze on this. And the black glaze from Paint Couture is called Black Chiffon. I'm sure there are other, brands. You could do a black, what you call it? a black, like a watered down paint, or I'm just going to go ahead and glaze this whole thing. And I'll swipe off the excess. There was something else I was going to say. I lost track. I lost my train of thought. Okay. So this is really just for the background that we did this. See that? Can I see how it just gave it a glaze of black, and you can still see the wood grain behind it. I forgot what I was even trying to say a second ago. Oh well, lost my train of thought. That is so common for me. Okay, brown glaze coming in. We're going to do our basket pieces and our acorns and our handle, and then I want to glaze the panels, and then and my pumpkins, and I think we'll be ready. Let me get a brush for the glaze, and I'm going to use my paper towel. This is going to go on the entire basket for sure, and up on. I'm not going to be too discriminatory on where it's going on the top part, because I really want a lot of this glaze to be on not just leaves, but on the green parts as well. So I'm just going to pretty much slap it on all of it. I'm not going to worry about the cattails because it won't show. We're going to add some glaze down here on these leaves, and I'll show you the difference before we do anything else. Okay, so their glaze is applied, and I'm going to use my paper towel to kind of swipe some of it off so that it's not glopped and heavy. Too much right in here. I'm going to smooth out my basket. Okay. So, here you go. You can see how I glazed over the green and down on the leaves on the bottom, and it gave it more depth. So, just to compare, we'll do these also. Can you see the difference between these leaves that don't have the glaze and these that do? It's just a little bit. Just to add some definition. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to glaze these leaves. Oh, that's a lot. And my acorns. Got to glaze my acorns and my cross pieces of my basket. I got a lot of glaze over here. We're going to borrow and put it over here. I decided I don't think I want to glaze my, what do you call it, my candle. I don't know, maybe I do want to glaze my candle. Swipe across. Okay. Oh, and we can go ahead and do our pumpkins. What the glaze does on the pumpkins is it adds some depth like it does on the leaves, but it also works down into the scored lines and helps to define those. So they stand out even more. Okay. There's that. I may come back and put glaze on the candle. I don't know. There you can see our pumpkins. They're still kind of shiny. It needs to dry. And I got the green leaves glazed here. Okay, let's switcheroo. And we are, oh, we were going to rust too. I need to add some rust to my bucket. Okay. this is my handle of my bucket and the last couple of acorns. Just need, as well as, just going to dab this on, and then we'll do the swipe on these green leaves. They just came out so bright. Really thought this would help kind of make them a little bit deeper in color. So get these swiped on. Whoops. Swipe on, swipe off. Well, dab on, swipe off. There we go. That looks so much better. Okay. Got those pieces done. And we're going to come back over to our panels and add a little bit to these. Really, I just want it in the grooves. So, I mean, not just, but I'm going to concentrate on the scored lines, and then we're going to swipe off because I already have a really good color going from that Italian ivory paint. Okay, so there we go. They look really sloppy right now, so I'm going to get this a little bit wet and blend it, and it just goes mostly down into those grooves and kind of blends out a little bit. Add a little bit more out. I think. There we go. Okay. Now, to you guys, that's really stark. It doesn't look as stark to me. That's that lighting. Okay. Whoop, that's heavy. Let's move over here. Okay. I think I need a wipe instead, but paper towel will work for now. Okay. And the last one. Now I could go over the edges on this, but we're also going to have the frames that go on them. So that won't be as necessary. And there's so much going on, I don't think I really need to add the glaze in other spots right now. I think that's going to be it. Only place I might still add some of the glaze is on the candle. We'll see how that looks. All right, there's our panels. Let's go ahead and glue. We're ready to glue. Who's ready to glue? Look forward to seeing the finished project. Oh, hello, Elaine. Thank you. Rust. One more piece. Gotta rust. I really want to rust my bucket. We're going to let this sit for a minute. We're going to rust the bucket a little bit. It's one of my favorite things to do. So for rust, what I have... I just got paint on me. Hold on. This was a white shirt, and I've been told before I am not smart wearing white when I paint, and looky there, now this is gonna be a craft shirt. Here we go. I hit that little tray. Okay, truffle, the dark brown from Waverly. Okay, well there's, oh, that's a lot. A lot more than I needed. So instead of dropping something, I just splattered paint all over myself. Great. Now let's tap this down. This is copper. This is a Deco Arts Metallics in the color copper. And I just add a little bit to my brown paint. See, I got too much brown paint here. I really don't need that much. And I am going to take these two and really blend them together. Okay. So I've got both colors on my sponge. And we're going to come in on our bucket. Where's the rest of my bucket? Oh, here it is. We're going to just dab in a few spots. Whoops. There's something on it. I like it up at the top especially, but that's where our little cross piece is going to go. So I don't need a whole lot. We'll come underneath the top edge. And I'm adding some to the handle part too. Okay. Blending it out, it kind of makes it a little bit, like I said earlier, mottled looking, and blends the colors together. Okay, so let me see what this is going to look like with the cross piece. Oh, sticky tape. Oh, that looks good. Okay, we're going to add some more right in here. I'm going to blend to soften the edges. Okay, and there are the rusty spots on our bucket. And then that's it. That's all I had to do. That part's done. Get those trays out of my way so I don't get paint all over myself again. Glue time. Now these can dry while we start gluing our panels. Now if you remember, we've got the notches to the insides of where the hooks are going to hook into them. And I'm going to get, we painted these black, and I didn't do the underneath. So I will come back after we're all done and touch up the black on the underneath side of these, because I really want it all to be black on those. So 2 for this panel, 2 for this panel. Let's go ahead and glue on the frame, and then we'll glue those in. I'm going to go ahead and use the art glitter glue. This time I'm attaching this little teeny tiny nozzle that goes to it. This is a really good glue for wood, and it's got this tiny attachment so I can pinpoint where it goes. And so I don't get too much. My last project, I got too much. So let's get this starting to come out. There we go. So I can just dab it. It doesn't take a whole lot, and it doesn't dry super quick. So I don't end up with glue on my fingers and on parts of my project that I didn't want, and that accidentally glue things together I don't want. Okay, so we lined all of this frame up, and I'm going to press it down. It gives me a second to make sure we're lined up. Okay, press that down really well, and it will take a few minutes to dry, so I'm going to be careful the way I handle this, but let's go ahead and do all the frames. And this glue I get from Amazon. It's so funny. I don't even know why it's called Art Glitter Glue. Designer Dries Clear Adhesive. Permanent, water-based, non-toxic, and it's acid-free. So it's just a little bit easier for me to handle than the stick-fast glue that I was using before. But you can use stick fast, you can use super glue, I don't recommend hot glue because it is so thick it will either ooze out from in between your pieces. I'm going to have to clamp this, I think, to make sure these stay against each other while it dries. The other thing that hot glue tends to do is it tends to, it's so thick that it creates a gap in between your pieces. This one I think glued down. Okay, let's do this one. Have some clamps ready just in case. Those I just get from Dollar Tree. Now also this glue dries clear, so if it does ooze out, I'm not usually too worried. Sometimes I clean up the excess, but a lot of times it will just not be a problem and dry clear. Yeah, we're going to clamp this, whoops, also. Just to make sure everything stays together. There goes that one. Okay, so I did drop something. Oh, I have another one while it's drying. Okay, now while that's drying, I wonder, now maybe I can make it to where it'll prop up. Nah, but I can, that's not what I need. I need this side. Okay, remember these little notches back here? That's what your pieces are going to clamp into. Make sure you've got it going the right way, because these guys are going to go down into the holes. So that's going down. So my painted side is going to be up. Okay. What's on there? Piece of cardboard or wood or something. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get glue down in there. And if there is a gap, like right here, you'll see there's a little gap. I like to put the little eye loop to the top of the notch, the way it's going to stand. Okay. So I put it in there, and then I press it up against the top half section. Hope that makes sense. I still can't see comments down there. I'm so sorry I'm not able to answer you guys while we're live. Okay, so there's those little eye loops, and I want this, I'm going to prop this so that there's no pressure on those while they're drying. They're just going to dry in that place, and then this one is going to go this way, so eye loops at the top here. And here. You could do this last. You could do these little loops last so that you don't put pressure on them. Now that I think about it. That's okay. Oh, it stuck to my finger. Hold on. Put you back in there. I'm going to fill in a little glue on this side. So make sure it stays. And let you set there to dry. Put a little more in the gap here. And set you down. Okay. That should be it for these guys. So since these have the loops, we're going to set that there. On the left side, I am putting our little basket of cattails. And that had cross pieces. This is why I put these on the tape together. It had an acorn and his little topper, and it had a couple of leaves at the top. I think that was it, because the middle one, I think the lantern goes like that, and boy, that's really stuck down. Hold on. Come here. Don't roll away. Put my paints back in their holder. Be organized, Jojo. There. He's gonna go there. And so we did have some leaves with him. And an acorn. Where's the acorn? This guy. Okay, I'm going to put all those pieces together, take them off their tape, get them organized. And then the last one is all of this. So that's already going to stay together, so that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this guy. Oh, battery's running low. I can't see anything down there either. I'm so sorry. I'm going to come back and check. Judy's got me covered. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and put our little cross pieces on our basket. I like this little nozzle cover. It's really helping me keep from using too much glue. There's a little coming out. I can wipe it up, or I can leave it. Okay, did the cross pieces. Let's see, he's going to come down a little bit, or is he going to go up? Come down a little bit. I want to decide how these are going to look. Is that going to look good? I'm going to set my pieces kind of in place so that I have an idea of where they're going to be placed before I glue them down. And this guy, go here, because I don't want to have one low and one medium and one high. I want them to be all similar. Hang on. Let's go ahead and put this guy together. Be careful when you pull these off the tape that you don't just rip it off. Sometimes I kind of pull the tape off from the back side so that none of the pieces break. That layers over the front. Our little handle hangs down. And then there's the acorn. And the topper for this one. Okay, so this guy has the acorn at the bottom. And leaf an acorn up here near the top. And he's going to be there. He's going to be there. Okay, so this has a lot going on down at the bottom. I think that's going to be up at the top. There's our little candle flicker. This guy, we'll bring it up a little bit. And I think, hang on. Bring this down. Let's bring them all down a little bit. Let's do that. Bring them all down. So, kind of line them up so they're balanced. Okay, I like the placement. Let's go ahead and get the basket. Yep. Okay, we're going to get our glue, and I just dab some on these outside pieces so that they don't go anywhere. And if you feel like you've got too much glue, just swipe it, kind of blend it down a little bit so it doesn't ooze out as much. It still might. I'm going to spray over all of these pieces with a clear matte spray sealer as well, so that it helps to disguise some of the shine of the glue. Okay, let's get him a little bit lower. Okay. Press that down. Ooh, I lost my extra light. Sorry about that, because my laptop died on me. Okay, we're going to put the big one up there and the little one down here. And you can actually overlap. If you'd rather have these on the basket and not up above, you could put them on the basket instead. I just like to fill up this extra space. Okay, so, oh, there's my acorn. My acorn, though, I'm going to overlap. Yeah, this one's going to be on here. And then the topper. It'll line my little topper up so the stem meets up with it. So that one's done. Okay, now my lantern has multiple pieces, so let's go ahead and do the layers of the lantern. I didn't even have to paint the back piece of that, but I did. Okay, don't put pressure if you've got your little eye loops. Hold it. Ah! I'm dropping stuff again! Joey! Oh! Oh, okay, I got him. Leaf and a pumpkin, that's all we lost. Leaf and a pumpkin. Let's get our layers. This guy. Okay, I'm going to swipe these a little bit so they don't ooze out these thin sides. Actually pick that up. It's not even glued down yet. There we go. Now this guy goes over the top. It's real easy to see your candles, what you're going to line up. So I need glue on the back of the candle. We're going to glue here. Glue here and here on the frame. Oh, I didn't need glue on the frame there. We can clean that off. There. Whoop. Slide it over a little bit. And I'm going to take off this excess glue with a paintbrush. Okay. So your little candle and pumpkin glued over the top of that candle and onto the frame. Okay. Now, where's my little candle flicker before I lose that guy? Let's put some glue on him. And then he's going to go right in the middle of the candle. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this guy glued down. Only on these pieces that go on the back, against the back. Now I'm going to pick him up and brace him. It's got glue on my hand, that's okay. Wipe that off. That's good placement, okay. Press it down. So I've lifted it up off of the table so I'm not pressing against those little eye loops. Press everything down. Okay, now I have one more layer. This pumpkin goes over the top. He layers right on the candle and overlapping the pumpkin. Like so. Of course, you could put him wherever you want. You don't have to put him there. Do you like this kit for fall? I know he is very detailed. I got white paint on there. I'm going to have to touch up. That's okay. Okay, so there's your pumpkin layered over the front. And we have an acorn leaf and an acorn, and there's the topper. Those go in here too. So I think this little leaf will go on the bottom, and this acorn will go on top. I'm going to try to do everything keeping this up off the table so I don't put pressure where I don't want to. Because like I said, it does take a little time for the glue in those areas to really set up. And there's my little topper. I feel like I should have layered something up on the top part of my lantern. I think it would have looked a little better there. But we're okay. If I missed a leaf that fell, I will add it up on the top part of the lantern. But there's this one. I didn't want it to be empty up there. You could also add bows to this, guys. You could put little bows. You could do something, a little tie onto that. Isn't it cute? Oh, I just love it. And I do like how the stain, the black glaze on the back came out. It's not too dark. Okay, last one. Let's go ahead and do our layers on our leaves and on our bucket. So this is just going to line up along the bottom edge of the leaves there. Again, I'm picking this up so that I'm not putting pressure against these little rings. I don't know. Now make sure your glaze is dry. Mine's a little sticky, so it's sticking to my fingers a little bit. Oh! Forget how these pieces are loose. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the acorn topper down here. And the cross piece that goes right underneath the top edge of the bucket. It's a little bit further down than it should be, but you know what? I think it's okay. I don't think that looks bad at all. And now let's see where this is going to go. Okay, so we're going to glue basically all along the arm and the handle. The outside pieces do not necessarily glue down. They might stick out a little bit over the base of the bucket. Oh, come on. It's sticking to me. I think I've got glue on my thumbs. Okay. Give that a couple of minutes. If I didn't get enough glue on that, I will come back and redo it, but I think it'll hold. Okay, the last pieces we have are the leaf, oh, there's the topper, and acorn that we're going to put up at the top. So I think we're going to go this way with it. Yeah. Okay. Get some Glue on the back of the leaf. Flip it right there in the middle. And then the acorn is going to go next to it. Almost there, guys. And I think I'm going to be able to depend on my... Oh, I didn't glue down the bucket yet. Psych. One more thing. Got to glue the bucket down. I think my eye loops are done drying. I think they are set. So can you see yourself making this kit? Wouldn't it be fun? I just love being able to pick and choose the colors and really be creative with placement. You can pick things to overlap differently than I did. You can make this part of a whole nother project. And this is so adorable to put like on your bookshelf, I think. You can put it next to a tiered tray display, or you can put it on your mantle or your coffee table. And I did not finish the back of this. I'm going to move it up a little bit more. There. I did not finish the back of this guy, but all I would do is take that light brown sugar glaze and go over the back of it. That's all it needs. Did I get that even? Yes. Okay. Phew. Had to move it up because I had it down too low. Okay. Let's move our clamps. Now, I am going to be pretty delicate for right now with these eye loops because they are still kind of setting up. But once they're set up, they should be fine. All right. Yay! Let's get this put together. Here is your fall trio hinged sign set. So here is your finished. This is my middle panel, which was the lantern. Okay. This is your left hand panel, which is our cattails and acorns in the basket. And it can definitely might need to add a little bit of yellow to the tips of those cattails. Now, how does it work? The hinge goes into the eye loops, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it right now, but just like so. So when it stands, it's like that. And they're loose. I mean, they move around so that you can take them apart and you can move them places, but that's how that works. And now here's our rusty metal bucket with our leaves and acorns in that. And again, I'm going to lift this up a little bit, bring that hinge down into those loops. Go in there. And there is your fall trio hinged set. What do you think? Now, if stuff's in your way, if you have to swipe the comments off so you can see it, because I can't lift, well, I can try. I can lift, I think, the whole cardboard piece. Let's see if I can hold this together so that you can see it better. Ta-da! There you go. Oh, I love adding the green to that. I think it just added a real fun extra color, but you could definitely go with, like I said, brown tones, and you could blend in some yellows and oranges into these leaves and make them look more like wheat. That's completely up to you. So, if you want this kit, the link is in the comments. It's been pinned. I pushed on it. Hold on. Stop pushing on it, Joey. It's also in the description of the video. There. Okay. Let it stand on its own. It'll be fine. It's in the description of the video. That is kind of your gateway to Christina's whole website so that you can shop all the kits, especially the fall kits, but she's got Christmas. She's got all the different seasons and all the different holidays if you're shopping around for year round. These make really fun gifts for Christmas, for your grandkids, even your adult kids. My adult kids love to put things like this together. My son's a big Lego person. He would like something like this. Maybe not this kit for my son, but there's a bunch on the website. And my daughters would too. So have a great evening. Thank you for spending, gosh, 2 hours with me. I can't believe it took that long, but I wanted to get it done for you. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you soon. Bye.